Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, back with some more boxing talk. Looks like we have some more boxing news and boxing talk, and just fights that are worth talking about. So I had to come back and talk about this highly anticipated unification fight with Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant. I meant to do a video last week on this, but I did see the press conference. I saw the drama that went down with it. Caleb Plant and Canelo, they really don't like each other. And like I said, I wanted to give my thoughts on it last week, but so much going on in the UFC world and with these flyweight fights that had to cover those first because those fights are going down. They were happening, but yeah, going back to Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant. I saw the press conference. I saw the shoving match and the slap match. They got a chance to meet face to face, more like palm to palm. And Caleb Plant, he got the swing in, and just in case y'all didn't see that, he got the swing in. Canelo, he showed off the technique already, kind of rolled with it, caught a little bit of fingertips or a palm, but Caleb, he had caught from Canelo two slaps. I think he came up with the left and the open palm. He came down with that right hand on Caleb Plant's head and put a little abrasion under the right eye of Caleb Plant, and I think it came from the glasses. And I heard Brian Custer off his podcast when he did the interview with Caleb Plant that I think something about Canelo getting his arm cut too from the glasses. So some exchanges happen. Some not really violent exchanges, but some little cuts happen. They faced a little bruise and minor cuts, but nothing big where the fight won't get stopped. But anyways, after seeing this, I just saw like my thoughts on I had to get my thoughts on Canelo Alvarez. I was like, man, this guy, he's really out of character now. Like, it's either because he's becoming this diva, Canelo Alvarez, or Caleb Plant really struck a nerve with him. I think it's a mixture of both, but I think Caleb Plant really did strike a nerve when he brought up not, you can't even call it allegations at this point. The fact that Canelo Alvarez is tested positive. Canelo Alvarez has popped before. So, when that was brought up, Canelo Alvarez, I think that kind of put him in a different mood because, you started hearing him really start to cussing, speaking out of character. And he was just exhausting his English at this point. You know what I mean? He was really going at it with Caleb Plant, when they were, sitting side by side. But when they got up and they got in each other's faces, they were exchanging words, MF this, MF that. And that's where Canelo tried to use the excuse that MF, he thought he was talking about his mom. But he said MF before, he used those type of cuss words before. So Canelo knows he wasn't talking about his mom. He just wanted to use that as an opportunity to shove him. That's what I think. But overall, man, after seeing that press conference and just what this fight holds as far as, champion versus champion, I have to say I like the energy that these two guys are bringing to boxing. Whether they don't like each other, or this is an act, I like this energy that they're bringing it back to boxing, especially when we just been on a run of exhibitions. We've been getting a lot of BS exhibitions with fighters, pushing 60, YouTubers going in there, putting on the shows and getting all the money. This is the type of energy we need brought back to boxing. This is the type of energy that's going to make, the old fans and the casual fans kind of look again and say, oh, what's going on over here? We got two guys really going at it with belts, two champions that are, in there that really don't like each other, because people have to remember that boxing is boxing. When two guys get in there, it is about the skill and the technique, but the build up, the backstory is very important. It's still an important part of the game. Shout out to my man Boxing P. That's one of the things we used to always talk about on our show, is the fact that this build up behind the scenes, it hypes up some type of fans. And I know it did Boxing P. It was one of those things that hyped him up, was just seeing the backstory and the characters, the character being kind of built up. And I think that seeing this type of energy here, the animosity between these two guys, it's going to make a lot of fans want to see boxing, because now you have drama amongst real fighters, not made up stuff like Tyron Woodley versus Paul, making bets on putting tattoos. I love Tyron Woodley, I love Jake Paul, not BS like that. You have two guys who are already, about to resort to blows at the press conference. We used to see this back in the day. Like, first thing I thought of, well, this wasn't as violent, but first thing I thought of was Riddick Bowe versus Larry Donald. If y'all remember that, like, I can't remember what Larry Donald said, and Riddick Bowe, he kind of took it out of proportion, and then boom, boom, caught him with a two-piece, and, busted Larry Donald's lip. And that had me like, whoa, because I was a kid at that time. And I was like, damn, Riddick Bowe, he losing it, man. This guy's a loose cannon. But it made the event more exciting. It made you want to see what type of reaction Larry Donald was going to have. And at the time, by Larry Donald's facial expression, you could already see it kind of shook it, and it showed in the actual fight. So with Caleb Plant, at the time he looked a little flustered because he did catch two hands, but after the press conference and doing his interview, that probably woke something up in him. He's been through a lot, and this is a guy that's not scared of anybody, in my opinion. He's taken on the best in the world in Canelo Alvarez, one of the best in the world, and I think that we might see something awaken in him. I don't think he's gonna fold or bend or break to Canelo Alvarez. He is gonna put up a good fight. He also has Andre Ward in his corner, who's been helping him come up with some techniques and just kind of giving him some gems. So I think this fight's going to be good. You have a lot riding on it. Canelo Alvarez, he really has his boxing supremacy on the line. His stardom on the line, because this is one of these fights that's going to make whoever a star to me, especially with Caleb Plant. He's kind of like the underdog in this fight, and if he was to win, that would put him on the map. He'd be the undisputed champion. He'd be the guy everybody's looking at. So with that, it really does put a lot of energy back into boxing. While these other fights are being called off, people testing positive, you got Caleb Plant and Canelo ready to throw down in November, not just for the belts, but just to show who's the better fighter now. Canelo Alvarez, he feels he has the better skill. Caleb Plant, he feels like he's the better boxer, that he can go in there and just outclass Canelo Alvarez. He feels like he's the biggest step up in Canelo Alvarez's resume in a while, which we can't argue. I mean, guys like Caleb Smith were supposed to have it. Kovalev, I'm still kind of questionable about that fight. I was looking at that fight again, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure about that. I'm a little on the fence about that fight. But some of the fights on Canelo Alvarez's resume as of lately, you can say they are kind of questionable as far as, the guys bringing the fight to Canelo. But somebody like Caleb Plant, he's going to bring that type of test, I think. I think he has that boxing IQ alongside with Andre Ward, helping awake something in him. I think they're going to bring something to the table, for Canelo Alvarez. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to this fight. Like I said, my thoughts after seeing the press conference and just knowing what this fight stands for right now, I think it's going to bring energy back to boxing. And I think it is waking up boxing now because, like I said, we just need good fights now, man. And we need to really keep it going. And after looking at Dana White's recent interview after the Contender Series, he was just going in on Oscar De La Hoya, and I might do another video talking about this where he was just going in about the pay, how people are saying UFC fighters are underpaid. He actually brought out the portfolio and was just kind of going in on what Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy fighters are making and what a Golden Boy card is making. So he's just kind of going on how he's a business and he's giving the fans what they want. His 52 cards versus, like 3 or 4 or 5, big significant fights we get in boxing, if that, right? So right now, boxing really needs this with Canelo and Caleb. And then we need the Crawford Porter fight. Then we need Wilder 3 versus, Wilder Fury 3. We need that fight, right? So we need all the energy we can get. And I like the fact that they're bringing entertainment back to boxing because that's what it needs. We need good fighters, but we need 2 fighters that are going to come out of their shell and entertain the fans and bring in that backstory, like I said. So, yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. I know a lot of my MMA fans, aren't really checking into boxing as much, but, I'm trying to bring it back. And I suggest y'all kind of go look at the resumes or go back and look at some fights of Caleb Plant, even Canelo Alvarez, and check out this press conference if you haven't seen it. Yeah, definitely check it out, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna have to start getting on my Jab podcast with my man Boxing P again. So fans here of Combo Breaker 99, make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Jab Effect. We're gonna start, trying to resurrect that. We've been out of it for a few months now. But yeah, if you're just an MMA fan, just support Combo Breaker 99 anyway by subscribing to the Jab Effect YouTube channel, guys. And yeah, do that, and we'll be bringing more boxing back to y'all pretty soon. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.